They pop crowd. They pop corn. They pop culture. It's the lowdown.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the latest installment of the Lowdown Popcast. I am the voice of PCW, the voice of Demons Football, and 1/3 ownership of PCW, Elliot Popston. And to my right is the founder and second third of ownership of the hottest wrestling promotion in the Mid-Atlantic. He is the owner agent of Flyer Float Travel, where you can book your dream getaway at flyerfloattravel.com. Curator of Spirits with Shane, can sell ice to an Eskimo. New York's greatest export, Shane Dorr. What's up, Shane?
Man, it's finally here. Our favorite day of the week following the hottest wrestling weekend.
Oh, we've got a lot to talk about. But before we do that, to our left is the third part of our ownership of the hottest wrestling promotion in the Mid-Atlantic, PCW, 7-time fantasy football champion, podcast enthusiast, soon to be Kevin Nash's favorite podcaster, just like his favorite wrestler. He's been known to outwork everyone with his self-proclaimed hottest Funko Pop collection. Not your average wrestling mark. Handbook, Jonathan Winburn.
What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Did you say hottest weekend? Like hot as in like dumpster fire hot,
Warm.
or like?
Come on. It was good.
I'm
I'm stoked. I can't wait to talk about it. Because I'm
stoked.
I
to
think
talk
we have
about
differing
it.
we have differing opinions, and I think it's
Extremely.
Obviously.
Stop it. It's gonna be good. We're gonna be master debaters.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Don't laugh, guys. Come on.
So, let's jump right into it, shall we? Man, it has been a full weekend, without a doubt.
I'm still recovering.
You
See me, I'm drinking Sprite today.
kicked off night
I was
one.
gonna say, where's the spirits with Shane?
Oh, bro, I had enough spirits with Shane.
I'm gonna have to do my own spirits.
I had enough spirits with Shane for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm good. I'm good. I had one earlier though, but I'm good now.
So first and foremost, apologies for having to start late tonight. Our
Weather.
weather. Yeah, we got rained out. No. My wife's a nurse, for those of you who don't know, and she had to handle something at work last minute. So
I thought it was because Vince rewrote the show.
Well, we'll get to that too. Pencil stash.
Come on, such a hater.
But let's start with
Couple of haters.
what we got here. Couple of haters.
Tell you.
Let's start with the beginning of our weekend, which was Friday night. Supercard of Honor. I thought it was a pretty good show.
And we knew when we were watching that show that, man, WWE had their hands full this weekend. Because that started the weekend. It was hot. I thought it was hot. I'm a big fan of what they're doing in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, so what we had is kicking off the show at 0 hour. We had Jeff Cobb, as well as we had multiple matches. We had Stu Grayson versus Slim J. Stu Grayson of the Dark Order. We also had Willow Nightingale versus Miranda Elias. Willie Mack and Konosuke Takeshita. Pretty good match on 0 Hour.
That was probably the best match on the show, or on the pre-show.
And you also had Jeff Cobb versus Hot Sauce Tracy Williams.
Man, I love Jeff Cobb.
I'm a fan of. I like watching him in the ring as well.
Dude is built to the nines, and he's just so entertaining to watch.
He's quite the stocky individual, that's for sure. He's built like a Mack truck. But so what we had is Hiroshi Tanahashi defeats Daniel Garcia, and these aren't necessarily in order, guys. So apologies. We also had easily the match of the night. Maybe.
Not mine.
El Hijo del Vikingo defeating Commander.
Fantastic.
It was a good match.
Jonathan, you become a fan of Vikingo?
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Man, I said it last week. You know, AEW Ring of Honor has become like today's version of WCW's Land of the Cruiserweights, and that they're given an opportunity to shine, and they look good.
Speaking of high flying, we have the Lucha Bros become the new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions in the Reach for the Sky Tag Team Championship ladder match.
Good.
As they defeat the Kingdom, Aussie Open, Top Flight, and Rushin Jalisco. Dante Martin with a nasty accident, taking a Canadian Destroyer off the ladder onto four tables.
It's just
Four tables.
It's just crazy, nasty accident from, because he did something like a Canadian Destroyer off the top of a ladder through the outside of the ring through 4 tables. Yeah, accident. But man, the risk to take. I actually think, I go back and I think about this and think about that spot. I think it was an unnecessary risk. I think it was.
I agree.
It was just, yeah, it was gonna be a cheap pop, but man, you getting close to the finish like that, I just think it was just unnecessary.
Yeah,
but thoughts and prayers to Dante as he recovers.
Sure,
that's gonna be a
long man. And
I saw a couple of comments afterwards, just from people talking about the way it looked, kind of comparing it to Joe Theismann, and I was like, he might not make it back. I mean, it might.
Alex Smith had the same injury, right? Never made it back. Hopefully it
didn't look good at all.
Yeah, hopefully that's not the case.
So young too, man.
I know he's been released from the hospital, but I haven't really seen any updates on
surgery and everything.
I just saw that he was released. I don't know if they what they've done so far.
Man, and talking about a tag team that's battled injury since they've gotten into AEW,
they can't catch a break.
No pun intended.
I'm sorry. I was trying not to make myself laugh. I had to put my hand over my mouth.
Oh, anyways, I'm sorry. Too many puns. Moving on. I had a Ring of Honor 6-man.
Yeah, they've not officially. Well, this update says they haven't officially. No official diagnosis has been given.
I got one broken leg.
But he went on Twitter. He got released, and he went on Twitter and thanked Tony Khan. Said, got to see him right after I was getting out of the hospital.
Something that's
he thanked AEW's medical staff.
Something that's interesting that I actually found out this on All Access this past week.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, no spoilers, but
no. So, because my understanding is WWE does not handle health care coverage. That's my understanding.
They don't have health insurance, but I think if you get injured,
so Tony Khan actually pays for the talent's health insurance.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, yeah.
Is what is something that Adam Cole talks about, and Britt Baker both talk about how that's a
well. In AEW, are their talent not employees? They're employees of AEW. I don't hear the term subcontractor thrown around AEW.
Sure.
So, I mean, they're under contract. So, I mean, it might alleviate to the health insurance side of things. But either way, several things. If you think about several injuries, if you think about things like think about Moxley's rehab, think about Dante Martin's injuries, think about who else has gotten hurt. there's been a couple others, major names. Punk.
Yeah.
You know, Punk. Tony Khan's taking care of him every time. So kudos to him.
He had the Embassy defeat AR Fox, Blake Christian, and Metalik in the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championship match. A lot of people, I know us. Well, I can speak for myself, and you might have said this. I don't know if you mentioned that or not, but we kind of all thought that somehow, some way, the Embassy was going to lose, and Brian Cage was on his way out. But
his
not.
his pose at the end made it look like he's sticking around. Like I mean, the camera panned on him, and he did something pose wise, but the way he came across was he ain't going anywhere.
I mean, he got the finisher, he got the pin. So
if he is going somewhere, boy, they really took care of him.
You had Katsuyori Shibata defeat Wheeler Yuta in a Ring of Honor Pure Championship match.
That was my upset of the night. That was not something I foresaw. And it was a banger too. It was really good.
It was a really good match.
And shout out to both men, Shibata and Yuta. Wheeler, I mean, Yuta looks amazing. Definitely wasn't the outcome I was thinking. But either way.
Yeah. That's what surprised me was Samoa Joe defeat Mark Briscoe for the Ring of Honor Television Championship.
I did not see that coming either. Thinking about it.
But let's talk about how good Joe looks. I mean, arguably one of his best runs he's had.
Definitely.
In his career.
Definitely. And working with one of his best friends. Mark Briscoe still reeling from the loss of his brother. Mark was actually undefeated in singles action, I think, going into this match.
He was, and his whole family was there. So everyone thought, okay, he's going over. Nope.
AEW did it first.
They thought that about Cody too.
Yeah, AEW. Ring of Honor's like, no, we're nipping this one right in the bud. So you also had Athena defeat Yuka Sakazaki. I think. Did y'all think Sakazaki got concussed in the match?
She was loopy. I don't know what part it was, but I was like, she's seeing stars. Like you can see it. Like
she looked like she was out on her feet a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. It wasn't just me then.
No, there was one point. I can't remember what happened in the match, but I was like, I think she hit her head on something. I don't know.
Athena's fists.
I'm like, yeah, she's not right. Something's wrong with her.
And also, you end the night with Claudio Castagnoli versus Eddie Kingston. Castagnoli retains the Ring of Honor World Championship. Another one that I feel like a lot of people thought Eddie was going to go over.
I thought this was his World Heavyweight Championship opportunity.
I did not. I had zero thought that Eddie was going to win.
But he gets on the mic at the end. They're trying to say, hey, we only got a few minutes. He's like, oh, you're going to cut me off. Tell me I got 5 minutes, but you'll give MJF 30 minutes on cable television.
I do like Eddie's, man. I like Eddie's promos. His work is still a little.
They're real,
but the promos are getting to be like exactly the same.
His
everybody's out against him.
Yeah,
he doesn't get any time. It's all the same.
And he's not lying.
No, I mean,
well, I'm not saying he's lying. It's just all the same.
Well, I mean, whatever.
Billy says, Sakazaki gave it to herself. There's a band that made a song about just do it to yourself. But that wraps up Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor on Friday night, and it was a
overall show grade.
I'd give it a B plus, probably B. There were some matches I was like, I mean, and part of that was because of the. I think part of that is just not having necessarily the connection with the show because of how it's currently being played out. Everything you have to have. You have to be subscribed to the Honor Club to follow.
Mamba.
I don't know how to watch that on Mamba.
What?
The regular shows.
the
Oh,
weekly Ring of Honor
Yeah.
shows.
oh, it'll be there.
Will be. It's not there now.
Yeah.
It will. Give it a week.
It's been out for like months.
Takes time.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So no, that's
However, I do subscribe to Honor Club, and I have not watched the weekly show.
There you have it.
Honestly, forgot about it until you said that.
so. I mean, I'd give it from what I knew about it. For me, there were a couple of matches that were really high grades, B+ or higher, but then there were also a couple that for me was just like, this sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a C+.
So
I give it a C+. I think it's more fair. Yeah, right in the middle, but kind of upper middle. It was a good way to start the weekend.
Yeah.
Of what was sure to be a long weekend.
It was a long weekend. It was nice, but it was a long weekend.
It's the best wrestling weekend of the year. Well,
I'll probably go in that B range.
nice.
I mean, the matches were. I enjoyed the matches overall. So I mean, top to bottom. I wouldn't go as far as a C, but
C+.
Uh,
C+ is almost a B-. So come on.
come on.
Come on.
So that leads us right into
On to the main event.
on to WrestleMania Night 1, Saturday night.
Oh, this one we can talk about. This WrestleMania night.
Okay,
one was,
we can get on the same page. We can agree with one thing here. Night 1 collectively was the better night.
Far better than Night 2.
wasn't even close.
Okay. Night 2 had the best match. But
Ah.
come on. Anyway, let's roll through these results, Elliot.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and go on record and say Rhodes versus Reigns was not the best match of the week.
Absolutely was.
Well, I will say the match itself was fantastic.
Yes.
We'll talk about the outcome later.
The whole match was beautiful. Let's go.
Started the night off hot with You Can't See Me, John Cena
Hot
versus A-Town Down, Austin Theory. Theory defeats Cena by way of pinfall,
as he should have.
to retain the United States Championship.
Shout out. I mean, kudos to John Cena for putting over the young guy. I mean, we kind of knew that match was going to be happening for months in the making. They were talking about it. It was rumored. It was leaked. It was talked about. I think it was an appropriate opener.
I think it was a good opener because Cena was involved. I mean, it started the crowd. I mean, he hasn't had a match in a while.
There's a
in
couple
front of that crowd, but I don't think there wasn't really anything about the match itself that stood out.
He still should have done the Thugonomics entrance,
but I think it was a good way to start the show. I mean,
before we continue, catch up some comments real quick. Chris Evans says best wrestling weekend of the year is next weekend with the PCW show of 2023 in Shameless Plug.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I mean, I completely agree.
We're not biased either.
not at all.
Nice hat.
Cheryl says it's because I wasn't there that Friday night wasn't as good. Billy says I agree. Night 1 was fire. Billy also says mysterious interest is fire. Getting there.
Quit getting ahead, Billy.
Dang it, Billy. Cheryl. Next match: Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus Street Profits, Alpha Academy, and the Viking Raiders for the men's showcase match. Pretty good match. You get Street Profits with the win. I think deservedly so.
I think I called that on
You
last
did.
week's show. Let me start. I know we're going match by match, but Shane started off the night like 0 for 4 in match
He
calls.
did.
Did I?
Yeah,
I haven't even kept
I don't
track.
remember what you finished with, but you were definitely like 0 for 4 in the first 4 matches.
Well, I called
whatever you were calling.
I
it
called
was like,
Cena, and I think I called Ricochet and Braun. Right?
somebody. I knew it wasn't Street Profits.
I would never pick the Alpha Academy for anything, and it definitely wasn't the Viking Raiders. So I think I did pick Ricochet and
I was like, hey, whatever Shane says at this point, let's just go the opposite direction.
until the one it mattered. But keep going.
So I mean, so you had some pretty.
Well, that
This
should
match was
let you
very-
know right there that it was a bad decision.
Stop. This tag match was very surprisingly good. This is really good. I didn't anticipate it being that good.
It was good for a fatal 4-way tag match.
Yeah, a lot of things going on.
I mean, you had Chad Gable with a roll through German suplex on Braun Strowman. You had a moonsault from Ivar, the Viking Raiders.
Yeah,
You saw Strowman actually land a splash off the top rope.
that was nice to see.
And then you had basically like a Tower of Doom happen where Ricochet hit the top person and they all fell. So some good spots for sure. And something that really was like, I was like, oh my gosh, that just happened. Braun Strowman goes to run around the ring and absolutely gets planted by Dawkins.
Yeah.
God, dog.
I mean, Dawkins is a big boy too, though.
He is, but I mean, he hit Strowman like it was nothing. I was like, my gosh,
Made him look good though.
yeah, it did. Street Profits get the win.
Can we read Christopher
Yes,
Aaron
we
Evans?
because I have something to say about it.
Oh, shut your mouth.
So, real quick, Billy says Mysterious Entrance was the best entrance of both nights. Sorry, he got excited. Chris then says Shane's allowed one wrestling event where he makes almost all the wrong calls. Doesn't happen often.
Happens all the time. All the time.
No, not when I'm being serious.
Shit, that's when you get them wrong the most.
No,
Yeah.
Chris Evans knows.
Okay.
Ask Chris Evans about the time I practically predicted the Royal Rumble. Okay, like I'm that good. I'm that guy. I'm good. Okay,
Well,
forget about it.
It's not hard to predict stuff when it's Brock.
No, Brock wasn't even in it. Next match. Next match. Thank you, Chris. That means a lot to me.
Next match
Shane's
is
like, this match. Oh, Brock's gonna win. Oh, well, yeah. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Brock's not even in the match. He's gonna win it.
Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul.
I loved it.
Paul with the Shawn Michaels entrance.
Yes, that not surprising to
It was
anybody else.
surprising.
They got a lot of heat for that, especially after Owen Hart over the edge stuff. I mean, we haven't seen that at all, so I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
You
necessarily
best
agree
know
with
they
the
made it
heat.
safe.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I get where it's the source of it, but like, I don't know.
You shouldn't let one mishap, unfortunate mishap, dictate your every decision. So I think I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
I mean, you had Paul also then stopped like halfway down the ramp and walked with a big bottle of Prime, like life-size bottle of Prime.
Okay, was this the match where they had the sponsorship? Was one?
It was a couple, but this was one. I mean, that was essentially a sponsorship.
That's getting old real quick.
I mean, that's his own company though.
Yeah, it makes more sense there.
Yeah, and
Somewhere else it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I think.
Oh,
That was the Mysterio match.
We'll get to that. No.
Fuego.
What? Who'd have thought?
They couldn't even do something like
a father and son would be fighting over a bowl of cereal.
They couldn't do something funny like mini wheats, right? I mean, mini. That would have been clever.
Or Trojans because he made a mistake. I don't know.
See, that's punny.
Condoms.
Missed the boat on that one.
Oh, I should be in marketing. Anyways, so
Add it to the list.
yeah. So you had Rollins come out looking interesting with his red bubbly red coat, and then like
It was. I don't know.
Jeff Jarrett-esque pink.
God bless Jeff Jarrett.
I'm so glad he didn't wrestle with those stripes on the whole time. As soon as he took it off, I was like, oh my God.
So they saved the best for WrestleMania, that's for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you call that? What was that? Like I don't know. This looks like something
It
I would
definitely
wear.
was just like Jeff Jarrett. That was like exactly what it was. As soon as he said, I was like, oh my God. Well, Rollins is out.
Yeah, it was
he just made the list.
But then he took it off. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you had some good spots though. Good spots in the match. Man, Logan Paul is an absolute athlete.
What do you think of Rollins' entrance with the conductor doing the?
I thought it was great.
Oh yeah.
That's that gimmick's growing on to me, for sure. I wasn't really a fan of like the orchestra stuff, but the crowd, man, eats it up. I would equate it with like the Yes stuff. It's loud.
Or Judas? Did you put it on Judas's level?
No. No. All right.
I mean, on Cody's song, they just and
That one part. That's all they do.
Pipe again.
Anyways, so getting back to the match, Paul showed a lot of athleticism. Went for the frog splash again. Onto the table.
Did he do the buckshot, Larry, or I miss it?
He did. I missed it too.
Kind of too.
Billy saw it. Billy said
Where
he
the
did
heck
do it.
were we? Guys, we were in the same room.
It was towards the beginning, but I remember we must have been talking about something, but we completely missed it because Billy was like, "Oh, he was like his buckshot Larry looked good," and I was like, well, "When did he do that?" Because I didn't see it.
But before the frog splash onto the table, what we saw was the guy in the prime bottle take his the bottle cap where his face was off. Ends up being KSI, who's also part owner of Prime. Paul goes to hit the frog splash on the table. Rollins pulls KSI onto the table instead.
And you couldn't tell he was setting up for it.
Yeah, trying to get his phone to work. Then
Did we ever find out if that video? He was like, did he release that video
so
or was it live?
I went online.
Be
I went on
hilarious.
YouTube to see if it was live, and nothing was there.
I checked.
forgot to
I
hit the
checked
button.
Instagram.
I checked
it wasn't
KSI.
there.
I checked YouTube on KSI. I didn't see anything.
Forgot to hit the button.
Yeah.
Rookie.
Paul ends up hitting another frog splash when they get in the ring. Then tries to go coast to coast, catches a big super kick to the jaw. Rollins ends up.
I remember
with
that
stomp.
spot when he took the super kick because we said Rollins gave him a receipt for something. But what was it for?
Pretty sure he got kicked in the face or something.
Yeah.
Was it?
I don't remember specifically.
Was it when he did the moonsault? When he jumped up and did the moonsault? Did he land on Rollins' funny or something? It was like back to back. We were like, oh, and then
Rollins
right
tagged
after
him
that,
a little bit.
Rollins tagged. We were like, oh, he gave him a receipt for that one.
Yeah, that was a little tag, but he got hit in the face. You can't mess up Rollins' face. Pretty sure it's a no.
So Rollins with the win.
Can we not just agree that Logan Paul is way better than he should be?
Yeah.
And if WWE doesn't lock him down, I think they're making a huge mistake, especially with what's coming with the new ownership of WWE. I think locking down
You want
a star like Logan
you
Paul.
want someone that has the possibility and capability of being cross promotional.
How old is Logan Paul?
20s,
They'd be dumb to not lock him down.
maybe early 30s.
I think he's like mid-20s, I believe.
Yeah, I was thinking 25, but man, I would be giving him everything he wants.
28.
You got at least
Jake's younger.
Just turned 20. His birthday was Saturday. That was right. I don't even know if they think they talked about that the week before, but I don't even think they brought it up on the show that it was.
You
Paul's
got at
birthday.
least 7 years in that man's prime left. You don't lock
Prime.
that.
Prime. I see what you did there.
I was actually inadvertent.
I know it was. I could tell by the way you said it. You didn't mean to it.
Yep, but yeah,
We'll give it to you.
meant to do that. But yeah, he needs to be locked down for years because he's a star, and he obviously receives well, trains well, willing to learn.
So about the buckshot, Billy says, yeah, he only did it once. And Chris says, I'm going to walk away now. I'm pretty sure that's where I took out the internet.
Might have been. Billy might have had it on his phone.
Yeah, Billy.
Next match of the night, Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus versus Damage Control.
Awful.
It was the worst match on the night. I do believe, but I still don't think Lita looks very well. Like she didn't look well in the title win. Like she hasn't really looked well.
She didn't look in the build. It's
she,
awful.
Like just her movements doesn't look well. And I don't know. I know we talked about Trish, but I thought Trish looked fantastic in the match. Like I think she could still go.
Is she
and
going
have,
to, is
and
she
have some
climbing toward 50?
and have some really good moments. I mean, she was still moving. She was still hitting all her moves, and it looked
Chris.
fluid. Chris. I mean, it didn't.
Is she pushing 50? I'm curious.
Maybe
46. I think she's on the other side of 45. And to look as good and move
47.
to move as well as she does and hit the move she does and not miss a beat. I guess that's why she's a Hall of Famer. She's fantastic.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the match. I thought it was
I'm not putting over the match. I'm putting over Trish Stratus. I think. And shout out to her gear for holding her in.
Yeah, she did a callback with a gear.
Yes.
It was the callback was to the last time WrestleMania was in Hollywood too.
Which would have been WrestleMania 21. 18 years. Oh, 18 years.
Talking about someone who got out in their prime.
Prime again.
Moving on to what some would could have considered, what some would consider the match of the night.
Had everything. Emotional roller coaster.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. Before we run through that, let's look at some of these comments. Billy said earlier, Mysterio's entrance was fire. It was the best entrance of both nights. Cheryl says, "Dang it, Cheryl! Can we talk about how much Dom looked like Mysterio in the Luchador mask during his entrance?" Yes.
It's funny because me and Elliot were talking about that before he came out with the mask on, like in the pre-match video, and then his entrance had him like they opened. Well, first off, both entrances were fantastic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For the whole match. But when he opened the door and he had on the Mysterio mask, Shane was like, "Oh my god, he was just like Ray."
I'm pretty sure, like if you put Ray in his prime and that picture, like cropped it out and just put the faces next to one another, they'd be hard to tell apart. It was that close.
Chris Evans says Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Rey Mysterio Jr.
That would be the Rey Mysterio the third. But okay.
Sarcasm, Shane.
Oh, sorry.
Somebody's not in their prime.
Sorry.
Well, we know that whenever he was like, "I'm getting old. I gotta go to bed. I'm getting old." Shane, you're the youngest one here.
8:00 at night. I'm getting so old and I go to sleep.
Give me my insure.
Chris says going to walk away now. Okay, we've already talked about that. Billy said no, he was not watching the
see, I thought he was talking about us talking trash about Lita.
No, he was saying that he wasn't watching it on his phone. That's when it popped up.
Oh. Sorry, Billy.
So Ray versus Dom, right? First of all, I'm a fan of Ray's the mask Ray wore.
You okay?
I don't know what that was. A cough and a hiccup. I did like Ray's mask. It was different, so it fit. Like WrestleMania attire. It was just something. To me, it looked like the Flash, but it kind of looked like a
Hawkman.
I think it was the same people that made Hawkman's mask for Black Adam, the same company. But it kind of looked like Muda, like it looked like a callback to Muda, which they said it wasn't intentional. Like I've saw things where they had been working on the mask for like 6 years. So, but it was just weird and neat that it kind of looked like Muda with Muda going into the Hall of Fame.
And let's not forget Dom's mask.
Well, I still saying both entrances to me. I mean, Dom, they pull him in on the paddy wagon. The door's open. He's wearing Ray's. It was themed like Ray's Halloween Havoc mask and he got out and then. Then I was like, oh man, if he wrestles in the mask, that's gonna be fantastic. But then he took it off before he got in the ring. But I love Dominic's entrance.
And that's another guy that's got superb in the ring. I mean, he's still a long way. You can tell certain things, but I think he's great. And he's he can move like a luchador, even though he's a lot bigger than Ray. My question is, seeing how well that came off with the mask, does Dominic end up in a mask at some point? Is there where do you think Dom goes with that?
So I thought that when he
I don't think we're done with Dom.
When he came out with the mask, it was a good callback because, like I said, it looked like Ray's Halloween Havoc. His whole attire looked like Ray's Halloween Havoc thing. But it was one of those things where I've watched like the A&E biography on Rey Mysterio, and Ray talks about how when he got started, his uncle, like he had to earn the Rey Mysterio name, and like he wasn't using the mask from the beginning. Like he had something else. His face was still covered, but it just wasn't that mask. So that kind of got me thinking, wonder when Ray does finally call it, or if something happens and Ray considers Dom ready, that maybe he passes down the mask or the kind of the persona.
Well, if you Rey Mysterio used to be Rey Mysterio Jr., right? Back in WCW. He dropped the Junior, went to Rey Mysterio. How appropriate would it be to have another,
which his uncle's Rey Mysterio?
Yeah. How appropriate would it be to Dom Rey Mysterio Jr.? I mean, I think it'd be fantastic. And I always preach that the most important part of wrestling is the moments.
He should go by Tres Rey.
Huh?
Tres Rey.
But
because he's a third.
I just preach that wrestling is about the moments, and I think the biggest moment you can get out of that whole story is the passing of the mask to Dom. What?
We'll talk about it later.
I don't like this.
Moments.
It is. I'm big on moments.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about the biggest moment of them all.
Zach,
I can't wait to hear your opinion on it.
Zima says, "Hey boys, Dom is the man, big fan."
Yes.
And Dom gets his dad's mask. He agreed with what you said, 100%. Wrestling's full of moments.
Yeah, I mean that's the most important part of it.
I do think that this might have been. I mean, this was, I think, by far Dom's best match.
Yeah, it helps with his dad,
right? I mean, they've probably been doing that
since he's out of the womb,
since he was 8 years old.
I mean, he's probably been the same size as him since he was 8. So,
with his real dad,
Eddie.
Eddie.
So Ray, we talked about Ray's entrance being fire. Yes. So Ray comes in. Started off with
we lie, we cheat, we steal.
Well, it started off with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg's song was playing first, and then
Snoop Dogg was driving.
Came in on the lowrider with Snoop Dogg driving. Then they switched to Eddie's music, which was a nice touch.
It was fantastic,
especially with the stuff with Dom. Like
moments,
it made sense. Then they played Ray's music. The only thing I wish would have happened was because when Ray got off the lowrider, there was definitely a door in the stage that he snuck into, and then they cut away, and then when they came back, he was already on stage. I wish they would have had him pop out.
I think I read years ago that he stopped doing that because of his knees.
I do think want to say the same thing, but I mean, it didn't have to be they could have done something with the camera angles or something, just a little hop or something. It just would have been a nice, just a final touch.
And hearing that, who's that jumping out the sky?
Just nitpicking a little. It was just like I anticipated that, and it didn't happen. And I was like, I wish they would have just been able to do.
He used to come out the floor, and the sparks would hit the same time. And the who's that jump? Oh, that was my favorite theme. But yeah, the whole match, man, was beautiful.
Yeah, you have.
I have a soft spot for Ray because the whole 619 stuff. Like obviously that's San Diego's area code, but my birthday's 6/19, so yeah. 619.
That's awesome, Jonathan.
Thank you.
I love that.
Mysterio gets the win. Ray gets the win with help from Bad Bunny. Which we later find out on Monday night, something else. So one of the best looking 619s we've probably seen ever. The 619 that Ray hit on Dom. It's very, very nice. But yeah, what else on that match? Anything?
That's an interesting point from CBS Sports that it's an ultra rare match between father and son. How many father and son matches have we been able to see or witness besides Vince and Shane? Yeah, Dom and Ray. What other father son?
Didn't we have Flair and David Flair at one point?
I'm sure they hit at one point.
Flair and Little Nate.
That doesn't count. But it is cool. That is cool. I mean, that's a cool thing to think about.
You've had Cowboy Bob with Randy. Not like in a match together.
Have you had did Dusty fight Dustin or Cody? I know they've
had to done something.
They were in matches together, but they never fought each other.
Probably in TNA. That
Russo WCW.
Oh yeah.
Let's catch up real quick. Zima says, you guys want to know my opinions? You may want to run over to mine and Dave Ruby's show at Falls Count everywhere. Start with their cheap plug, LOL. Hey, yeah, go check them out if you don't have anything. You'll want to follow another podcast. Go for it. Ray looked good that night too, though. Billy says you spanked him with a belt. He did. He took his belt off.
See, father son.
Love
it.
There has only been 2 at WrestleMania. 2 times a father and son have faced each other.
It's got to be Vince and Shane, right?
Sure,
got to be. Z-Miz, correct me if I'm wrong.
He's
in Wrestling Encyclopedia.
Ray spanking Dom. It was definitely like a standout moment in the match. But all the stuff with Ray's family being Ray and Dom's family being at ringside with his wife and Aaliyah stuff. It all made sense. It all fit really well with the story they were trying to
tell. Then you had what I honestly kind of feel like can arguably be the match of the week. SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Ripley comes out with the win. It's kind of interesting how they she won with the riptide off the top rope. Good spot, but you had Flair just sitting outside the ring the whole time smiling as she was celebrating, which was just interesting to see on camera. So,
she's on her way out for a while.
She might be that top person that the report was talking about.
That'd be awesome.
But there were a lot of good spots in the match. However, there was a lot of spots where made me a little nervous. Like there was a lot of spots that were mighty close to
Charlotte ate her face
to looking like it wasn't that far off from being a disaster.
There's definitely a lot of risk in that match.
Yep,
but very well done.
A lot of risk for not like major spots, like we talked about the Ring of Honor stuff with the ladder, like unnecessary. Like it wouldn't have said, a lot of the stuff that came off as risk weren't necessarily like, you wouldn't think going into the move or the spot that it was like a big risk, but it was a lot of them hit really close where I was like, oh, that was just a little bit of timing off.
Yep,
I think it's some of those high risk, high reward type of thing. In my opinion, that's how it kind of came off.
Oh, and it's the biggest pay-per-view of the year. You're gonna do everything you can to stand out and stand above everybody else. But I thought the whole match was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, no, I agree. Definitely fun to watch and everything, without a doubt. Flair with her moonsaults and stuff outside the ring. You mentioned it that night, talking about how good her big boot looks.
You're talking about Flair?
Flair's, yeah.
What is she? She's got to be 6'3". She's tall, 6'2" maybe. And I don't know. You don't see a woman talent utilize a big boot.
Yeah.
So she stands out above above all with that in itself.
Catching up real quick. Z-Miz says, "Oh my gosh, that match was amazing."
What did he say first?
He said you were right about Vince and Shane.
Oh, okay.
Shane wanted to make sure he got that right comment.
I'm getting the rub, bro. I gotta get it.
Billy says that was one of the best women's matches. The smile was her acknowledgement of being beat by a better person. She wants to take time off to bodybuild, supposedly. Oh, another Jordan Grace. Ugh. Anywho, Zima says it was a great thing to see. Charlotte has always been a big backer of Rhea, and she knew they had an amazing match. Rhea and Charlotte was best match for night one. Gunther versus Drew versus Sheamus was okay. I might be there with you.
There's your match of the night.
Next match, you had Pat McAfee versus The Miz.
Okay, there's a lot to unravel with this one.
Snoop Dogg comes out and makes the match against between Miz and McAfee. And yeah, George Kittle interferes, and
God, I don't know, whatever.
There you have it.
I'm not saying nothing.
Zima is saying it was dumb because his boy Miz got taken out. Then you had the culmination of something that's been.
This was my match of the weekend.
Stewing.
It's my number 2.
The Undisputed Tag Team Championships, Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
God, that was the thing of beauty.
It was.
That match was borderline flawless in every way, shape, or form.
Billy says
The only downside to the Usos match was
Look at Billy.
Lil Uzi doing his entrance. Like it just was. I don't.
Lil Uzi Vert was garbage.
What was that? What was that?
A waste of a paycheck.
Like, oh.
Billy says, just want to say how many times I called that Pat was going to be there and no one else wanted to jump on board.
We just sure thing, Billy. Sure thing.
That was WWE's big surprise.
Yeah. That's the one off. I don't necessarily count that as being back.
Second big surprise. First one didn't turn out how they wanted it, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we will. Night 2. But man, you had heck of a match. For everyone who hates the Young Bucks and talk about how they do super kick spam, let's just make note that the Usos gave 22 super kicks.
I think the final count was 23.
23 super kicks in the match.
Probably shooting down the Bucks by doing it.
I mean, they always do super kicks.
Yeah,
they do.
Not 23.
It's one of those things that everyone was happy at the end of this night.
Yeah, I think night 1 that was a lot of people were kind of questioning the main event, or did it deserve to be the main event?
It had the best story going into the match in night 1,
and the story is still going on. The story ain't over yet.
Between them two,
the story ain't over. The bloodline.
I didn't say the bloodline story was over.
It's only gonna get better.
I won't know. But I like how they did the final moment. So, like, I think Sammy hesitating, he did the 3 haluva kicks, but like waiting. I mean, it built anticipation from the crowd, so it was a good moment. I think so. I do think we talked about like Mount Rushmore tag teams. I think the Usos might be my all-time favorite tag team. I think they may go down as the all-time best tag team.
I can see that.
They've not just because they've had the long run this time, but I mean they've had multiple title runs. What I like about it was when they started off, they were very Cena-esque, cartoonish, the face paint, colors, and it still worked for them in the moment. Like the crowd got behind them, and they completely switched. Went heel, started doing the down since day 1 stuff. That got over. They've killed it. Now they're doing the bloodline stuff. I just think overall, there's not really been nothing that they've done that's been bad. I think they've adjusted their characters along with the times. And then they've you look at like any match they've had with the Usos, with the Street Profits. I mean, Sammy, like all of their matches have been fire.
Billy says the emotion made the KO and Sammy versus the Usos match of the weekend, especially when Sammy did his haluva kick and Jay fell into his arms and he ended up then doing it again. No, I mean, easily could be called the match of the weekend for sure.
And I love that there was no outside interference by anybody.
That was probably my favorite part of the whole match. Was now, and we'll get to that. Unfortunately, all main events don't go off that way. But moving on to night 2, we open up with
what was your thoughts on the match, Shane?
Which one?
KO Sammy versus the Usos.
I just said it was the match. Well, I think it was the second match of the weekend, best weekend. Well, you don't share the same opinion.
We open up night 2
with your match of the night
with Brock Lesnar versus Omos. Man, Brock made Omos look strong. In the night, though, Lesnar gets the pin, gets a nice F5 on him.
In moments, them facing off, you can't fathom how big Omos is until you put him with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he made Brock look small.
Oh my Lord. That was unbelievable. I actually liked how the match went. I think Brock's selling, and you said it yourself. Brock's selling is second to none. Brock can make anybody look amazing.
Oh yeah, he's
willing to do stuff.
He's one of the best sellers, in my opinion, in the biz.
When he wants to be. If he wants to make you look good, he's going to make you look good. And he obviously
That's not often.
I think it's more often than you give him credit for.
I don't.
Listen,
come on,
Yeah.
really?
Now,
Do you remember how he took the Claymore from Drew McIntyre in the Royal Rumble?
Brock has two jobs normally. It's all right, go out there and look like a freaking monster.
Okay. When was that?
2020.
3 years ago.
How many matches does he have?
Even more to the point.
Well, what about SummerSlam versus Roman?
He makes everybody, if they're deserving, look like $1 million.
He does what he's told. Hey, make him look good.
I think he does a little what he wants to.
Brock decides who's deserving.
I don't think that's true.
Um,
You just love to hate Brock.
Oh, we'll get there.
That guitar,
we'll get there.
That guitar riff, bro, just makes you sick when you hear that guitar riff. Go ahead, Elliot. Where are we going?
I got a funny story.
Zima says Brock is our Lord and Savior. LOL.
Zima's. I'm not gonna say that, but I will say that I think Brock Lesnar, and he's been back, man, for when did he come back? 2012? Almost 11 years ago. I mean, he's for every spot he does have. I think he's deserving to be there. I think he's a marquee player. I think he's fantastic.
Going back to the main event of night one, Billy says there was supposed to be interference due to the cameraman at the top of the ramp during the match.
Billy's so adamant that somebody was supposed to come out.
Well, there was a cameraman at the top, but they were only there for a split second, so they might have just been moving, and it wasn't meant to be seen. Yeah, they might have been setting up for a shot later on or something. Because I haven't seen any reports that there was supposed to be a run in or anything.
Yeah, and Zach says Brock one of his favorite guys. So I mean, you got to think, man. Like anything Brock does is meaningful. Meaningful. Everything he does is meaningful. He doesn't just do anything just for any reason.
Yeah,
so,
he does a paycheck, a massive, big, fat one.
But the stuff he's doing is meaningful. It's impactful. It's memorable moments. Jonathan,
moving on to
talk about that.
The next match you had.
Meaningful. I mean, moments maybe. Meaningful. I don't know. I think you could take Brock out of the past 12 years, and I mean, there's key moments in there, but I think you could take out this whole time he's been back, and it wouldn't really change. Like I think he's been more of a hindrance than he's been helpful.
I would love to hear that.
We'll talk about.
What about the destruction of the Undertaker's streak?
Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Ain't nobody better that could have done it.
Okay.
And I was there for it, and it was even better.
You had.
I think I cried.
It was a moment, but I don't think it. I think it had a negative effect on the business.
What?
Yeah. If you were knowing that Roman beat Taker a year or two later, I'd have waited and just let Roman done it.
Brock had nothing to gain.
I think he had everything to gain. You don't think Taker handpicked that guy?
No, Taker's come out and said that he was told up until through the week that it was supposed to be him.
And Taker is also the one that maintains the most kayfabe out of any wrestler in the world, or tries to, till these people make him pull back the curtain. Taker handpicked that boy.
Okay,
come on now. Don't you remember the UFC stuff? You want to do it? It was supposed to happen years before. Taker handpicked that guy. Sorry, Elliot.
Moving on. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalya and Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville.
All right, what's the next match?
Baszler and Rousey win in the women's tag team showcase match.
Can we talk about how good Ronda looked to finish the match?
That's horrible. Intercontinental Championship match. Dude, it's like I went to go get some chips and dip and came back and it was over. So,
yeah, I'm ready for Ronda to be gone.
By the way, the following night, Monday Night Raw, Raquel and Liv now are new number one contenders for the women's championship tag team championships because they had a number one contenders match last night.
Was Vince back in charge?
Oh. Pencil stash, maybe not. Brett says, "Yo, sorry I'm late. Hey, welcome to the show, Brett. Intercontinental Championship match. All right, here we go.
It's all right, Brett. We were late too.
Yeah, we didn't get on here. We didn't get on here till around 9:30. Meaty men just slapping each other. At one point, Sheamus did 29 of the of the, what do they call them? I forget the name of the
clubbing blows.
Yeah, club to the chest.
Bodron or something. Like
yeah, something. Gosh, I was like, nope.
So I was not sold that this match was going to be nearly as good as it was, and this was a match of the weekend contender.
Absolutely,
and some people's match of the card. It was brutal.
It's such a good match. And I love the way Walter Gunther won. Love the way he won. Very, very heelish. All three of the men, though, all three of them looked strong in the match by far. Easily match of the weekend contender, match of the year contender, possibly. And Gunther continues to look strong as he chases Honky Tonk Man's streak. Catching up real quick. Brett says Chow is here. Billy says, "What's up, Brett?" Brett responds, "Billy, how are you, sir?" Clubbing blows. That's what they are. Oh, beat of the battering ram. That sounds right, Billy. Thanks, man. And Brett says, "To me, those big guys are heavyweights and should be fighting for heavyweight championships." But hey, no argument here.
I also don't mind
one probably will
prestige coming to the Intercontinental Championship. I think that's that's one of my favorite championships of all time. So I think having that have notoriety is important.
Gunther will be the one to dethrone Cody once Cody gets the championship match. Why? Because everybody wants to see Germany.
Cody ain't winning the title.
You would be wrong. We'll get there. You're making me pissed now.
You then have the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair versus Asuka.
That was a good one too.
They made the wrong decision. They should have put it on Asuka.
I mean, we can disagree and agree with all the decisions at the end of the day. You know, they hopefully have a plan. I think it kind of really derails the mystique and build of Asuka. But I mean, she looked really good. They both look really good. But
so
in a weekend, with Muda going in the Hall of Fame, I think it would have been fitting. That's just me.
So I can see that, but I like that if Bianca was going to go over, I like that they didn't have Bianca take the mist and then still go over. Like Bianca got she
ducked it. She got it away.
Scouted. I mean, obviously that's been Asuka's thing since she's, like her big thing since she's been back. So, it was just like a smart competitor move. She got out of the way and that's how she won. So I'm okay with the outcome. Like I thought it was well played.
Dang Billy, man.
Billy hits the nail on the head. Bad storyline. There's very little
Billy's
storyline.
been pissed about that story going into the show for weeks.
Monday Night Raw set up the reason for that with Rhea and Bianca.
About to unify the women's titles too.
I think they might be doing that to several.
Yep. Belair with the KOD. I'm a big fan of the KOD. I'm a big fan of her finisher. Personally.
How about the next one, Elliot? Let's talk about that one. Snoop Dogg and The Miz.
Yeah, so next match we have.
Let's talk about a legitimate surprise here.
Yes,
I think it was.
It was.
It was. Yeah, it was quite
Twice. You got
quite
two
a
surprises in
surprise.
one match. Well, kind of three.
You had Snoop Dogg and The Miz come out again.
Miz was complaining about Snoop making the match on night one against McAfee. And Snoop said, "Oh, well, let's do it again." And then you just hear, "Here comes the money!"
Perfect.
Loud pop.
Yeah.
Very loud pop.
My house was loud.
But not louder than his quad popping. So
It's so sad.
he gets does the leapfrog and down goes McMahon.
It was.
It's
I really felt super bad for Shane to come back in that kind of moment after, especially after the way he left. I mean, he was there for Rumble last year.
So it's actually been,
and then like 14 months.
Yeah.
And then he hasn't been there. And that whole thing was like he had that blow up backstage. That's why he left, after at the Rumble. Hasn't been on TV or really mentioned since. To come back and have that big moment, and then I mean it just came to a screeching halt. It did not look good.
Nah, man. He's not as young as he used to be, so that recovery is not gonna be easy. It's not like a prime Triple H, recovering from that. So he's gonna be out of commission for a while. I hated that, to kind of see that moment tainted by that. It's unfortunate.
And even though, go ahead.
No, you.
I would say even though that moment definitely it put a damper on the whole situation. Kudos for everybody involved for the improv that it took. I mean, I heard that it was, they kind of caught it in the moment, but
Kudos to referee Jessica. What's her name? Jessica Carr. Yeah.
Snoop came
Calling the spot.
Snoop came in, gave Miz 2 big right hands, had him reeling, and gave his version of the people's elbow.
Doggy elbow.
Yeah.
That was awful, but it was.
Well, it was awful, but it was hilarious to watch. I mean, it was like
he nailed it too. And
what got me though
was Miz,
like completely different, body styles and reactions. But I think back to like some of the Rock's like standout people's elbows where he did the one where he slid in the ground and stuff like that, and it was just like all I can picture is Snoop hitting the rope and like just looked like he was like petrified.
He was a pencil.
Like he just got real stiff and then just bounced off. Like it was hilarious to watch. For it was just a standout. It was just a
8'4",
standout moment. Unintentional.
110 pounds.
Yeah, he's a beanpole. It was funny. And who better than Mike Mizanin to be in that role though? Like a lot of people make fun of him for being in those spots, man. But there is nobody that makes anybody look like $1 million.
When we talked about this at the show, the Miz I think is severely underrated, and I think he has played a major part in WWE for the last 10 years, like a key part. Because of moments
he
like
event
that.
WrestleMania.
Because of moments like that too. I mean, like he's willing to go out there and do the.
He's the only 2-time Grand Slam champion.
I think Miz and Ziggler are 2 of the most fantastic workers in like complete package workers there are. So shout out to Miz for that because that looked fantastic.
Next match we had Hell in a Cell with Edge versus the Demon Finn Balor.
I get a headache thinking about this match.
It's like splitting.
A split. Oh, dang it! I was all excited. Splitting headache.
They had such a perfect opportunity for Edge's entrance, and
where the frig was Gangrel?
Hollywood, Florida.
He really was. He really was. I'm like,
he keeps posting Hollywood. He's in Hollywood, Florida. He's
like, in Hollywood, Florida. He's like, gotcha. They think I'm in Hollywood.
Like, man, what? Okay. I can't stand. I can't stand the words Brood Edge for one. That looks stupid. And then I can't stand Brood without Gangrel and Christian or some sort of combination. And I can't stand the thing I hate the most is that transition from Brood Edge to regular. What? Why do they keep doing that?
You like the visual transition or the music
all of
transition?
It is trash.
Because we just talked about how Ray went from Snoop Dogg to Eddie to his own music, and it was fantastic.
But he's not switching gimmicks in the middle of everything. It's still Rey Mysterio. He's just attributing different things. But like Edge is literally like
Like Edge took
bipolar,
Edge took
switch to a whole different gimmick, and I can't stand it.
Edge
Dumb.
took a mask off and
So
he
what's
took his
the
wings
what's the
off.
difference between Triple H coming out with the Terminator
That's
thing
special
on and
entrance
having
WrestleMania. He's done it at the Rumble. He's done it at not Rumble, another pay per view. Like
he didn't do the wings and stuff.
I'm talking about the dual gimmick stupidity, and you know it's stupid.
I
You're
just
just
don't like
arguing
it because it's Edge.
I like Edge.
he's
I
best
hate
friends with
Christian.
Christian.
I hate Christian. There's a difference. I love Edge.
You're associated with Christian. I hate you.
Elliot, agree with me.
I don't like it because musically it doesn't fit with each other. That's why I don't like
Elliot's
it.
listening to the music. I hate it, but it's dumb. Like in the mask, I'm not like dogging the mask. It's WrestleMania, special entrance. But like, it's if you're gonna hype up the Brood Edge, okay, let him be that the whole time.
Well, and they had the sick music with it too.
oh yeah,
And I was like, okay.
and then you think you know me?
Oh,
I hate it.
I
Dumb.
see clearly. Grandpa Shane back.
Yeah, there you go, Brett.
Finn's head was super split. It was, and
Ugh.
be like having Sting come out to surfing music and crow music.
Yeah, it's stupid. It would be stupid, and I love Sting. You'd like it, but I think that's dumb.
Pretty good match though. You know, outside of the stoppage time with Finn getting his head split wide open.
Well, I definitely think that. I mean, kudos and props for them finding a way to finish the match.
All Finn Balor,
Right, and I agree. I think the match could have been a lot better than it was if that had not happened. I think they definitely like adjusted on the fly. But I mean, it was, you said splitting. I mean, they stopped.
I'm pretty sure we saw his brain.
They stopped it for a good bit, but the photos afterwards were.
I gagged.
Yeah, I mean, it was like we were during the match. You know, Billy's like, "Well, they won't show it on camera. They're not showing his face on camera." And I was thinking like his forehead. And there were some moments where I was like, I can't tell like where he's cut open at, like where the blood's at, you know, because his face paint's also, you know, black, red, and purple.
Well, and then it's like, they glued it shut. No, they stapled it shut. That was blood covering everything.
But then I saw the after photos and I was like, bro, that cut is deep. I mean, I thought the same thing. I saw it. I was like,
I was zooming in. I'm like, I think that's his brain. Like that
had to go through the skull first.
I'm pretty sure they did. It was disgusting. And I texted Tracy Myers, who was there, and he said they were stapling his head right in front of him. I'm like,
Billy said the Russell Crowe spot before the match is good too.
that was okay. That was good. Good call out, Billy. That was something I forgot about.
Pope's exorcist.
I can't wait next week. You
Um,
ready for that, Elliot?
Nope.
Nope.
But yeah, so kudos to Finn for, you know,
Dude,
because they could have very easily just stopped the match.
They
and been
should
like,
have.
hey, like,
bro, this is sick.
I get it, but we got.
My question is like I know the feeling of when you just get a paper cut, that throbbing feeling in your finger. What the heck did that feel like?
Oh, you have very little nerves on top of your head. So
Because I'm thinking, I mean, like, obviously the spot hurt, but I'm sure Edge didn't really hit him in the head after that. I mean, it'd be hard to, but I mean, there's got to be moments where even falling where it was like, you know, smacking that spot. I'm like,
Billy said ladder placement was impeccable.
Yeah, I wonder what happened. I have to go back and watch it. Was it a ladder throw error?
No, so Edge threw the ladder. Balor went to hit it like this, but when he did, it's like his hands like went through the holes right in his head.
I mean, it cracked him. I mean, you saw like even on the replay, you could see his head like snap back. I mean,
so it was more on Finn. Unfortunately, I mean, what can Edge really control? You know, just here you go. It's unfortunate, but glad he's okay.
Oh yeah.
Was there anything reported other than that?
I mean, he showed up he was on Monday.
I mean, Finn was able to locate a very randomly nicely placed ledge to jump off onto a table inside of LSL. So
good.
All worked out. Hey, let me use this randomly placed ledge here. Oh, that's perfectly in line with this halfway sawed table. Never seen a table break so easily.
It was like this when he got out.
Perfectly.
Yeah, all Edge did was get
it was molded after his back.
Probably had his name spray painted on it.
And now we go to Shane's favorite match of the weekend.
It really was.
The undisputed WWE Universal Championship match. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes.
Man, God bless Cody Rhodes. To come from where he's come from, man, and his story back into WWE, doing something that he was always told he could never do, which is main event of WrestleMania. The more I watch his work back, and the more I see how much effort and everything, and not taking anything away from Roman, because Roman's on a whole nother level himself, but just the way Cody presents himself, like Cody in the suit is fantastic, but like when he cuts the promos and the build to the match, and I just think he's on a whole nother level as well. And I think he definitely silenced a lot of his doubters or his critics. And the more I see him work now and the effort he's putting in, the more I realize that I think this is what he wanted all along, was to come back. I think that was his whole reason of taking that Meltzer bet and saying they couldn't draw 10 or 15,000 people in an arena, and leading to All In, and then which led to the formation of AEW. And I think him succeeding there, that was like his goal, was to come back. And this whole match was fantastic, man. From a storyline standpoint, from an action standpoint, from a emotional standpoint.
Brett said for us to buy the rights from WWE so we can show the highlights that we're looking at. Right now we're not looking at any highlights, but so
I think he was talking about the Finn spot, being able to show it as we were talking about it.
Billy says, I understand Shane's take on the match, but that spot belonged to Cody.
It will.
It won't be the same. It won't.
It'll be bigger.
It won't be.
It will be bigger.
Let's talk
about the match.
Let's talk about before the match. We saw Amanda Huber, Brody. -1
was cool.
Getting the belt that Cody had signed all the different companies in.
Saw his wife and his kid.
Yep.
Hugged and kissed.
You look, Jonathan, you'll know this reference. Does he not very Commander? Is it Commander on The Boys?
Homelander.
Very Homelander-esque, right?
Yeah, that was from the moment he first walked out with that same attire. Everybody was like, "Oh, he looks like Homelander." It's pretty spot on. There's some tweaks, but it's definitely. He said it wasn't.
Stunning.
That's not where he got the inspiration from. But I'm like, I get it. America, red, white, and blue. It's all of it's inspired by something, but it's pretty spot. It looks. It's everything. Like Homelander's got the platinum blonde hair. It's slicked back like that. The whole presentation looks just like Homelander.
But in the match, you had a heavy hitting back and forth. A lot of falsies. Thought that Cody had the opportunity to maybe to win it, especially when Solo gets tossed from ringside. And but referees get knocked out. You've got Cody hits was it like 2 of the crossroads, setting up for the third. Solo comes to the corner where Cody is, hits him with a spike.
This was after he had gotten ejected.
Yep.
So he was ejected earlier in the match.
And Reigns gets the win.
Who called this? Come on, guys, give me credit. I called this match.
Yeah.
I
you were wrong about every decision, and you were also wrong about that.
No,
you made the right call, but it was the wrong call.
I don't believe it was.
I don't.
You got to think on it. You just got to. So you got to remember, when you're most upset about the finish of the match is when it happened, right? Because it immediately not something you wanted.
I'm still
as time goes on and the story develops, and it better develop correctly.
It got worse.
They have enough. It got.
You laugh, but it did.
It got better.
Throwing Brock in the mix does not make it better.
When Cody goes over Brock,
it will not do
But he
anything
didn't
for
need
him.
to go over
He
Brock.
doesn't
Was
need
the thing.
to.
He got injured. He had that moment with Seth and Hell in a Cell. Like he was going to take months off. Like the moment was there. This was the biggest moment he could have had. No matter
The
what,
payoff
no
is
matter
gonna
when
be
he
way
comes
bigger.
back and wins, even if it's at Mania next year, he had the moment and they didn't capitalize on it. It's not going to be the same.
you don't
The
know
whole
that.
story. I do.
We
Guaranteed.
we saw this with Acclaimed. When the Acclaim,
Oh, we're talking the Acclaim and Cody Rhodes here.
no. It's the same type of thing though.
Yeah, but Cody's a star.
The Acclaim, obviously at the time the hottest tag team in AEW. The Acclaim had that opportunity to go over, and we all said
We don't know, Brett. We don't know.
We all said AEW missed the mark right here. Okay, I get it. They got a big show coming up, but they've missed the mark right here. And what happened? They got to the big show. Acclaim goes over, nowhere near. Nowhere near.
I mean, you talk about moments. So like, if and when Cody wins, it'll be a moment.
He's going to win.
If and when he wins, it'll be
Well,
a
you're saying
moment.
when, so
I said if or when. Like what? I don't think he's at this point. I don't think it's going to happen. Not anytime soon. Anytime soon.
If it doesn't happen, he wouldn't have gone back.
Well, I'll get to that in a minute. When we're done talking about the show, but no matter what, it won't be as impactful as it would have been then. This was.
We don't know that.
We do.
We
The
don't.
story that like it.
You're
It
putting
completely derailed the story.
maybe not.
It did.
We don't know. You can
Like
have
you made the
something-
comment about it was just the end of a chapter. The story continues. I'm
Yes.
not interested in the story anymore. The story
Because
was
you're mad
him
about
getting
that
there.
moment.
No,
You were mad.
I was.
You are.
I still am
Yes.
because it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make business sense. It doesn't like. They want Roman to carry the title for 1,000 days. That's it. That was their logic behind him winning the
Maybe.
match. Like it made
No,
no
that's
sense.
definitely it.
It made no sense for Roman to go over there. Roman has had a title for almost 3 years. There has been a few competitors where you could see the title potentially changing hands, but none of them felt more likely to happen that it did. Now, you can say it was telegraphed that they went in the opposite direction because it seemed so likely that Cody was going to win. But Cody is by far the biggest babyface they got on the roster. He's the most over.
Just because you're the biggest babyface doesn't mean you need the belt on you.
You don't. I'm not saying that. But the story was about him winning the belt. Roman doesn't need the belt. The whole you talked about the whole bloodline thing being not being over. It doesn't have to be over with Roman. Roman doesn't have to have the belts. They could still.
Why was the story Cody getting the belt? That was your story.
No, that was his promo when he came back was that Dusty never won the title and that he wants to win the title. And then it led into him never being a main eventer.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
but he still didn't win it. The match was there. It's like the Sammy thing. So
you don't
Sammy
need to kill two birds with one stone. You don't
But-
have to do that.
I'm not saying you do, but the story started with him winning the title and he didn't win.
Okay, but he still main evented.
But that wasn't again, you're killing the wrong bird
I don't
with that story.
think that necessarily has to be the case. What could WWE do? Legitimately think here. If you were writing the story, if you were writing the story, what would you do to get Cody to that point? How would you build it? Or
Right.
You think it's
I would
you think it's completely
Somehow
unsalvageable?
write a story to go back in time and make the right call. It makes no sense to me. Like Roman winning accomplished what? What did it
I'm
accomplish?
sorry, I was reading Brett.
What did it accomplish?
What, Roman winning?
Yeah. Like what did it do for business other than keep the title on Roman?
Well, Roman is Roman not the biggest heel in the company?
He is. He's also been the biggest heel for the last 3 years. And he can still
And
be
he's
the
still
biggest
getting
heel without the
better?
title.
Is he getting better?
I don't
He's
that's
still getting
I
better.
don't
No,
I don't
no.
think so.
I mean, I
Like
think
where,
he gains
where do
more
you
heat
where
every
do you
time.
see the bloodline story going that's bigger than the moment they were in? You think I mean so like everybody was talking about Jay versus Roman versus Sikoa. To me, none of that is bigger than the moment they had with Cody. It's Solo, no matter how much he's his lackey and the bodyguard, will never their feud anytime in the near future will be as hot as Cody was going into the match. Jay, as much as everybody's behind Jay, it's not going to be the same. This was Cody's moment. It was the moment that should have happened. And then we talked about it for like an hour after the show went off, and you said, "Well, let's just see how
Let
Monday.
the story play.
Let's just see how Monday went. Monday came and it got worse.
And even Triple H's post media scrum, man, like don't judge the story by a chapter.
No,
I went back and read it, and I don't think he was talking about Cody.
It's far from over.
I think Cody's chapter's over.
Well, first of all, you can't read that. You'd have to. I watched the whole.
I know what I'm
thing.
saying. I watched the clip of Triple H saying that, and I did not get the sense that he was talking about Cody's story. I think he was just saying like
Cody's going to take the championship from Roman Reigns.
And I don't doubt that. I just don't think it's going to be as big of a moment.
Okay.
You had WrestleMania in front of 80 or 60, however you want to do it, 1,000 people. The moment was there. The crowd was hot. That's what they were expecting. Even the reaction to Roman winning, it wasn't. You talked about Brock Taker. Brock beating Taker was a huge surprise to the audience. I think it was a shock to people that Cody didn't win, but I don't think it was a shock in like the Brock thing was like, I mean, people were just really.
I was there.
Didn't foresee that happening. Like it was
everybody
a big,
breathed in at the same point.
I don't think that happened with Roman. I mean, I think people were legit. I mean, like all the comments online, seeing like videos and stuff. I think people were legitimately pissed that Cody didn't win. Not like in a.
That's a good
shocker. No, not in a shocker. Like, oh my God, like what are they doing?
You can't always give the people what they want.
But you got to at times.
Here's times.
But here's the thing: WWE never gives the people what they want.
They went out and got Cody Rhodes. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's
not giving the people what they want. No, it's not. That's not.
How is signing AEW's biggest free agent and EVP of the company not giving people what they want?
That's not giving people what they want. That's just
that was smart business.
Yes, and that's giving people what they want. Putting him in the main event, albeit deservingly, still giving the people what they want.
Let's see. Brett makes a point. Says, "Hey, that match should have happened at the last pay-per-view. Then Cody should have won at Mania. They missed it. They missed the point." He also says, "If Cody does win, it'll be in Philly, and if no way Cody takes the titles at anything less than Mania."
I would love to see Roman Reigns carry the belt another year. I absolutely would.
I'm not interested.
Yeah,
there's a lot of story to be told in a year. It's not going to be like Rock and Cena where.
But that's what I'm saying.
Wait a
minute. Go ahead.
It's not going to be like Rock and Cena where they built it or they announced the match a year in advance and they sporadically showed up once every 2 months to talk about the match going up a year ahead of time. This is two full-time superstars. One the biggest heel in the company, one the biggest babyface in the company. There is no money in anything but the chase. There's whole another year that can be done with this. I think it's gonna be fantastic. A lot more people can be involved with it. A lot more twists and turns can be thrown into it. However, I will say, if the story does not end with Cody winning the championship, it's a failure.
Do you really have faith that WWE is going to continue to write great stories for a year?
I have faith in any pro wrestling company. I try to have faith in any pro wrestling company.
They had one night in one job and 33 minutes of wrestling in 3 hours. One of their top faces in the company, I consider him a face, came out and they go to commercial while he's out there and say, "Oh yeah, no, you're just walking out to your music and then walking back. You're not cutting a promo."
Talking about Seth?
Yeah.
And Raw. Yeah, but I do think
Brett makes the point. They told a story with Brock and Roman for 2 years and Roman still retained.
And the thing,
I have faith in the story.
I understand that Cody winning was the like obvious choice, and they chose to go a different direction. But sometimes it's okay to go the obvious route. Like if the moment's there and it's right,
we've seen it.
But we've seen exactly, you said that, but we've seen exactly what happened to Cody on Mania. The same shot with him sitting in the ring and Roman celebrating behind him. The same thing happened to Cena. The story's been told. It's okay wrestling's all about repeating history. I mean, we've talked about that on the podcast before. So what you talking about Daniel Bryan getting his moment? Well, sometimes the moment's deserved. Like that's the right moment.
He's still going to get the moment. He's at a bigger WrestleMania.
Than Hollywood.
I think WrestleMania 40 period. I think is going to be
just because it's 4-0.
I just think it's a bigger WrestleMania.
I mean, Triple H came out on Raw last night and was like, talked about WrestleMania 30 being 40th show, and I was like, nope, WrestleMania 39. Just because it's 4-0 doesn't make it a bigger show.
It's more of a milestone.
Okay.
I just think people are judging, and it's okay because it's so fresh. But let it.
I'll tell you why people are judging. People are judging because they know who's still in charge. For the past 6 to 9 months leading up to WrestleMania,
Vince was never not in charge.
It's been where I can agree with that. It's been understood Triple H has had more power creatively, and the product for the most part has been rather decent. Then they come out last night. You hear about scripts being rewritten during segments, like on the fly. People who were scheduled last night being told to go home, that they weren't going to be used last minute.
Well, let's talk about what built into that. So,
one more quick comment. Because you talked about, so I said I don't think Cody wins the titles. Obviously, like online, internet, wrestling community has talked about like Cody destroying the throne, all that stuff, and it being Triple H's revenge. So, do we know, like, has anybody read anything about how the chicken got in the ring at the end of the Mania? I haven't. I'm just asking. It was completely random, but that same chicken was in Triple H's promo a while back. Like he was talking about choking the chicken and stuff like that. Choke. I think it was strategically placed there by somebody within WWE. I think it was a message. There's no way it just magically showed up in the ring.
And there's just, I don't know, man. There's just no way.
And I know it was reported when Cody signed that it was a multi-year deal. But if it was only a 1-year deal, it would have, his last day of the contract, if his first day was the night he showed up at WrestleMania 38, would have been Sunday. And they wrote him off TV on Monday. And Tony Khan's got a major announcement that he's already said is going to be one of the biggest in company history on Wednesday.
It's not happening. It's not happening. It's the video game. Got to be something dumb.
Billy says, I lost interest in the story for Roman. He said, yeah, they told a story of Brock and Roman for 2 years and Roman retained. And Brett said, same, Billy. He's tired of it too.
I love having a mega ultra heel in a super piping hot baby face. I just think it creates for captivating television. But we've go ahead.
No, I agree. And the Roman Cody feud could continue, but and I know Roman didn't win clean, but to me that's where it was like if Cody won, they could have still continued it and it would have made sense. It would have gave Cody the moment and they could have continued and it would have been, they could have done whatever after that. But to me, Roman winning, whether it was clean or not, completely derails Cody's momentum.
Brett says, bro, I will laugh my tail off if Cody shows up at Dynamite.
I'm just saying.
So let's all right.
And Billy says, well, then build another heel.
We've talked easier said than done. Let's talk about, so we talked about our opinions on the WrestleMania card in the main event. Let's talk about probably the biggest news of the weekend and what, and then feed into Monday Night Raw with it. Elliot, you reported on it?
Yeah. So Endeavor bought WWE and it will be merging WWE and UFC, giving a $21+ billion price tag to them combined. Pretty interesting.
So wrestling's about to get really interesting here.
And I'm not so sure it's in a good way.
I'm not sold on it yet.
I'm being honest. I mean, I don't know.
So new company, Endeavor, or with a combination of WWE and UFC, Endeavor's gonna be the parent company.
Correct.
That's my understanding. I believe
Ari Emanuel.
I believe WWE and UFC are going to still operate as separate entities.
Yeah, they will.
I do think WWE is going to. Everybody's talking about this name change. That's the company that owns WWE and UFC is going to be the name change, not the individual entities. So we're still going to have WWE. Going by Triple H's promo. Take it how you mean it, or take it how you wish, but it may or may not be a good thing because he said WWE, as you know, is not going anywhere. So I'm like, ugh.
Bad thing.
I was like, ugh. I was watching that promo with excitement, and I was like, I heard that line. I'm like, So I don't know what to expect. So this is something unprecedented. It's large scale. It's a lot of money. I think Vince got the money he was wanting.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody said he was crazy.
Plus more.
Everybody said he was crazy.
I mean, like $4 billion more than what people had anticipated.
And I believe the company was only appraised at 6.5.
That's what I'm saying. It was like $3 billion more than what
Brett
people
said.
thought.
Brett said at least they didn't sell to the Saudis.
You know, I was totally against that too, but would that have been a better from a show quality standpoint been better? I don't know. So what do we get out of this? What are the pros out of this thing? So obviously a lot of money is going in here. So is there any good here?
I think eventually you end up losing the WWE premium live events.
And they did come out today and said they're heavily going after the UFC pay-per-view
model.
Yeah. That was the exact quote. And
so now you got to start paying $50 or $60 to get disappointed at the end of the show. Awesome.
Not a mamba. But I don't know. So
Terrific.
So what about
sign me up?
What about so the good thing about this deal is
Take my money.
guys like Brock Lesnar would want to stick around.
Oh, of course. Does he? I don't know. I
just wanted to say that.
I know, but
it's Brock the Star. They're talking about leaving.
Did I not hear about how him and Dana had beef with UFC? That's why he's not there anymore.
Brock can't go in the UFC, man, anyway, because that whole diverticulated spell. He was embarrassed the last time. But I don't know. Like, so it's interesting. So Vince McMahon will not be the CEO of this new company. We do know that. So that's a good thing. The bad thing
he is the executive chair of the board.
The bad thing is he's going to be the majority shareholder. So we already see what the majority shareholder. He doesn't have the CEO title now in WWE, does he? Or did he get that back?
No, he's the executive chairman.
No, but he was the CEO at one time.
I think he might have got it back.
Okay.
No.
I don't think he got that title back.
I think Khan's still.
Okay. Yeah. Nick Khan's still the CEO.
Well, and he's
supposedly
president of WWE according to
so
Endeavor.
Yeah, so with the new Endeavor purchase, Nick Khan would become the president of WWE, and Vince would be the executive shareholder. Well, Nick Khan's already come out and said Vince holds all the power because he is the executive shareholder. That's Nick Khan's quote. Vince controls all. That's his exact quote. So, how do you foresee anything changing here? The only hope I have is that this Ari Emanuel guy kind of doesn't have a hesitation to tell no, and kind of, because he is the CEO, so essentially all decisions will be yay or nay with him. I'm hoping, but then again, I hear reports that Ari practically handpicked Vince to be in the position that he's going in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, but then you got 51% to Endeavor and 49% to WWE shareholders. So obviously there is a shift in a shift in balance, a shift in power there. But what would it ultimately lead to? I don't know.
Brett says Vince doesn't give up the reins until he's dead. Yeah, doesn't give up the Roman reigns. Roman could be the champ for the next 10 years.
He might carry the UFC belt too. Sorry, guys.
And maybe maybe they integrate Power Slap with Dana White.
And what was the biggest news? Wrestling news that we've seen in a long time. WWE's been around for decades, and for it to be sold, that's probably the biggest news. Family. So it is definitely buzzworthy and worth talking about. But so when the news came across yesterday, we kind of knew Sunday with reports that come out and stuff. So yesterday when it was official, I was like, all right. I wasn't really going to watch Raw. I was just going to kind of be at home, and then if things happen, cut it on.
Oh, we blew up the chat immediately. Jonathan, you watch it?
I got a story behind that, but for the news to come out and it be such a big moment, to me, Raw should have absolutely killed it, and that would have.
All right. Wait. It's just news. It's just the deal is agreed to. This thing's not happening for another 6 months.
But what I'm saying is you had all this national attention on the product because of the news that
they should have put together a really good show.
It should have been one of the best Raws that we've ever seen to get new. I mean, people were watching the news and see like, Vince was on there. They're all talking about this purchase, and it was probably the worst Raw I've seen in a long time, which is saying a lot.
It was watched by
cage side seats ranked it as the lowest Raw ever.
However, it was watched by a lot of people,
which that's fine, but that's not necessarily a good thing if you're not putting on a good product.
So let's talk about the moment, Elliot. Let's talk the one moment of Raw.
Brett said
spend a lot of
Hogan
time on
the main event in Raw.
Spending a lot of time on wrestling here, but it's a lot of news.
Well, I mean, earlier that day, you see Vince McMahon with his Clark Gable mustache, and
he looks awful. He looks bad.
He looks like the dad from Addams Family.
So like somebody messaged me and was like telling me like his friends hate him because somebody's lying to him, telling him that looks good. That is awful.
So Lindsay said that she could tell where like one of his lips was kind of curled, and she thinks that he grew the mustache to hide his Botox in his lips.
Yeah, but it's his eyebrows. His eyebrows are like black.
They're all dark.
He looks awful.
They're all
something's wrong with him.
It's black.
He's like I think this is like I watched the interview on the news with him and Ari and whoever's interviewing him. I think he's like mentally like he's gone.
You think?
Yes.
Grab her by the.
Yeah, that was Trump.
Same.
Oh, no. But I just think
they're the same.
I just think like I don't know.
Bukkake brothers.
He looked bad, man. And like he was being asked, like, does he really want to do this? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't want to do this. Like, bro, you're
looks like he's chasing a moose and flying squirrel. He does. Boris. Hey, Rocky.
But he looks like I don't know.
Hey, Bowinkle.
Looks like Vincent Price or something. I don't know. It's very, very creepy. Creepy. I don't know. They're not going to end up closing the deal for another 4 to 6 months. So nothing's changing. Definitely nothing's changing yet. But I'm interested to see what happens. I mean, it's definitely intriguing. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing yet.
Well, the only spot of the entire night was the end of the show.
Oh no, we gotta talk about blowing up the chat with Jonathan. Jonathan, are you watching?
So hold on. So
we got excited.
I am interested to see what happens.
Yes,
but I'm not excited at all.
No, that comes
because I don't
watching.
Like, yeah, I have no faith. Zero. But I was not watching Raw, so we'll get to the story. I was not watching Raw at all. I was home. I was home, but I wasn't. I was like, you know what? Like after last night, like I'll keep it. I'll be close in case something happens. I can go back and watch it. But I'm not gonna watch it. So the chat blows up almost like pretty quickly. Billy, thank you. Jonathan, are you watching? And I should have known. I should have known because Billy only tagged me that it had to do with Brock, but I was. That's all he said. It tagged me. Jonathan, you watching? So I was like, no. And so I cut it on and I watched it from the beginning. So I saw Triple H's, whatever you want to call it, promise announcement. I don't know. It wasn't really an announcement. And then, Roman comes out, all that happens. And I'm like, okay, what's happening? Like, who's showing up? And in my mind, I'm thinking like Rock, something happens, like the impromptu match. I don't know. Like my mind was just going everywhere. Cody comes out. The whole promo was thinking, because I had read reports earlier that, it was like maybe Cardona would be, that there was definitely a tag match with a mystery partner. And then like, it was like Cardona, but that got me. I was like, well, maybe it could be Rock, so all these different things.
All the good stuff.
So like Heyman's doing it. And then Heyman's like, it's got to be somebody that participated at WrestleMania. And I was like, well, who is that? And I was thinking like Sammy, KO. And I was like, well, what sense does that make to have one of them in the match and not two? I didn't I caught the second comment Heyman made, but I didn't correlate it to like the fact that Brock couldn't get a title shot. So it wasn't worth him, like him teaming with Cody didn't do anything. Like I thought Heyman was saying if they lost, whoever Cody's partner wasn't getting a title match. But Heyman said whoever your partner is will never get a title match. So I just wasn't thinking at all that it was Brock. And then the music hit. I was like, you have got to be. I was like, I cut this crap on for this. I mean, it was a nice pop, but I was immediately annoyed because I was already annoyed about the Cody situation. And I have constantly talked about how Brock is always getting involved with everything. somehow, some way. So I did immediately put it in the, like as soon as I watched it, I put it in the chat about Brock interjecting himself in the title match.
Yeah, I woke up to like 20 messages on that this morning.
I said, so Cody lost at Mania so Brock could get added to the picture. Yep, sounds like it all worked out. Because Shayna said, like, oh, just give it to a Monday. Like, don't judge it based on tonight. Your emotions, like, let it go on Monday. Well, okay. Well, Monday immediately made it worse. Like, nothing better about the situation.
I would love to see what the point is or what the end result is here.
So I did leave Raw. I left Raw playing.
Lesnar joins the bloodline. It's the Brock line.
I left Raw playing. I wasn't really paying attention, but I was intrigued in my own way about the main event. Everybody else stopped watching. Everybody went to sleep or stopped watching or whatever. Because I put it in the chat, like, because I was watching it live when it happened. Like when the match started, Brock attacked Cody. I was like, because Shane was like, because when I said the thing about Brock losing, Shane said Brock ain't gonna be in the title picture. And then whenever he attacked Cody, I was like, well,
Cody,
I don't know where they're going, but you know, like what was the purpose of that? What, like, where did that come from? What's the purpose? You know, like well, I'm not interested.
The moral is don't shake hands with Brock Lesnar.
And then
everybody Brock Lesnar shakes hands with, he F5s or destroys.
So then I just put, you know, 2 hours later, I was like, when Brock attacked Cody, I was like, oh yeah, fantastic. With a gif of Brock and Vince laughing, no response. And I like for 15 minutes, all Brock did was beat Cody down.
Was it bad?
Cody had no, I mean, like he attacked Cody at the very beginning, F5'd him. And then Roman's like, and Solo just look at each other. They just get out the ring and walk off. And then the match never happens. And Brock spent like literally, there was like 20 minutes in the episode left in Raw when Brock came
20
down.
20 minutes.
And he spent 15 minutes demolishing Cody.
Nice.
You know,
nice. Getting that
Authority came out. Brock ran them off. Brock went to the back 3 times and came back out and attacked Cody consistently.
So what was your?
Bro,
I was a fly on the wall.
I wish you were too, because you thought I was mad when Mania ended, but I was livid last night. I was like, I did like to go from Mania to this makes 0 sense. Like, and you said, I saw you post on somebody's comment earlier. Well, when Cody beats Brock,
yeah,
it'll set up that much more when he beats Roman. But
maybe that's not the way it goes.
He didn't need either way. He didn't need to beat Brock to be able to beat Roman. Like the moment was already there. Like, so that I don't get that at all.
Getting beat down is building that sympathy for the babyface.
Okay, I get that too, but I don't. Again, he didn't need it. Cody had all the fanfare he needed. There was like, I mean, it was like you couldn't get any higher. I mean, Cody's been the biggest babyface that WWE's had in years. There's really not much. There's really not much more up you can go. But it was I like, so the only thing I am like, again, I'm not excited. I am interested. So the way that the whole beatdown happened legit had me think that they were writing Cody off. Like, that's the way it came across. I mean, this wasn't like, you talk about sympathy. This wasn't like, no, like, oh, he just came out and got attacked. I mean, Brock beat him down. Like, I don't even know how to put it. But at the very end, as Raw's going off the air, Brock walks back out, takes his gloves off, and flips the bird, both fingers in the ring, which to me, I'm like so it came across as they were writing Cody off, but then I'm like, but could it also be that Brock's like not happy with this news because, you know, maybe he doesn't have, you know, the best stuff going on with UFC, and he's just like, I'm done, this is it. But to me, he's not. I mean, if WWE, if that's his last, you know, WWE appearance, then I mean, he's not going out like that. I don't think. But then it just got me thinking about the whole WWE UFC thing that, yeah, Brock might be out of the title picture, but what if, so Cody won Rumble, right? So the idea that the Rumble winner main events Mania, do you think, because when did Endeavor first come into play? Like the news, not behind the scenes, we don't know. Like,
Sunday.
So we didn't find out that Endeavor was even in the equation until Sunday.
We heard rumblings during the day that WWE is getting close with somebody. And then Sunday,
I'm saying even before that, like, did you ever see anything about Endeavor being in talks?
No. With WWE?
Yeah.
Yes.
How long ago?
Months.
Really?
Yeah, months.
Because I'm thinking
They were
like,
one of the ones.
what if Cody won? That was the plan. And then when this deal got finalized, Endeavor was like, we don't want Cody to be champion. Like,
So, I mean, they've been in talks for months.
Or
So
whatever. Or,
the big ones were always Comcast, Disney. Everybody kept reporting about Comcast, Disney, the Saudis, Netflix, Endeavor.
I don't remember seeing
Endeavor was always listed last because that was the long shot, quote unquote.
And it could strictly just be because Endeavor's, tied with UFC. Like it just, I don't, because to me, Cody losing and then the way that Raw Monday happened again, none of it makes any sense for me. To me, it seems like maybe they came in and they were like, "This is the route we want to go," and Vince played suit. Maybe that's what signed the dotted line. Like, hey, we'll do this, but like Brock's our guy. Or something. And Vince was like, all right, I mean, if you're as a business owner, if you're selling your company and somebody comes in to pay you $3 billion, like 50% more than what it's valued, it's valued at $6 billion, sold for $9 billion, and they say, hey, we want this to be our guy. And then it's already Vince's guy. You think Vince says no?
Sorry, Cody. I mean, you put up valid points. I'm not going to disagree.
Because I don't see any other way it makes sense.
Brett says Cody shouldn't have bashed that throne. They're going to put him on live shows only here soon.
Nah.
Well, let's keep moving.
Sorry, I'm still hot. Hot.
Let's keep moving. We got AEW Dynamite coming on Wednesday night. We'll just run through the card real quick. You had AEW Women's World Championship match, Jamie Hayter versus Rio. FTW Championship match, Hook versus the Firm's Ethan Page. AEW World Trios Championship match with the House of Black versus Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends. AEW Tag Team Championship match with the Guns versus FTR in their careers. MJF Day and Tony Khan's big announcement.
Oh, so what do you think this announcement could be? It's not Cody.
Well, so did you see Khan's tweet earlier today?
He said something about it's going to be like one of the biggest episodes.
I believe tomorrow will be one of our most important Wednesday night Dynamite shows we've ever done.
Okay.
Great wrestling and story. And one of our most important announcements ever in AEW tomorrow on TBS.
So it's AEW related, not Ring of Honor. That's what I'm gathering. Is it the video game?
I don't see how that could be the most important announcement.
Would you be disappointed?
At this point, at this point, like with his track record on announcements, at this point,
this has become like a ploy here.
I don't have much faith, but after like the last 2 days, he could come out here and take a dump in the ring, and I'd be like, congratulations, the match that's better of a moment than the last 2 days.
That is awful, Jonathan.
I'm being serious.
Brett says brought to AEW.
So legitimately, what are we talking about here? So I don't think it's Ring of Honor related. So we're talking about AEW. So it could be a streaming deal.
Streaming, a new show.
Didn't they already just announce a new show?
Yeah, I don't know. They announced All Access. They've not officially announced that Saturday thing, I don't think. Punk. It could be related to Punk. Related. I mean, there's a chance that it could be related to Cody.
It's not.
There's a chance.
There's not a chance. No chance.
I need you to go back and watch the last 15 minutes of Raw.
We'll watch it after the show.
Okay.
We're almost done. We'll watch it.
New pay-per-view called Dynamania.
And it's really weird, man, because I don't know what it is. So, we watched WrestleMania in its entirety, right? But man, there's just something about Wednesday nights to me. Like, regardless of everything bad they do and the good they do, like Wednesday nights is my wrestling night now. Like I legitimately look forward to Wednesday nights.
Yeah,
I get excited.
I'm excited and nervous to watch the FTR versus Gun
match. That's a good thing. There's no way they go back.
I was gonna say
if they were losing, they're winning now.
No way. I saw a picture where somebody had
I think plans just changed.
Done like Tony Khan's
tells-
phone. It was like a screenshot of his phone, like the homepage of his phone where people were messaging him, and it was like
Miro's like,
Oh,
hey, I'm
Dax
good.
Harwood.
Miro was like, up for anything correct creatively, boss man. And then Andrade was like, what WTF? I like Sammy now. And then Harwood's like, can't wait to sign those new contracts, boss.
Yeah, there's just no. Okay, so going back to the Endeavor ownership at WWE, do you think that does change the TV rating of the product? I have my opinion on that.
TV rating?
Yeah, we're going from PG to TV 14.
I think it all comes down to the networks. It's what's the networks wants, and it's publicly traded.
But still Endeavor majority.
Immediately no, but when the new TV, I mean, when they renew the rights to whoever, yes, I think it. I mean,
It's on the
with
table.
Endeavor being, I mean, because UFC's obviously rated
TV 14.
TV 14 and Power Slaps TV 14 and stuff like that. I just think
So all hope's not lost.
it is on my end until something happens to make it different.
But I definitely don't foresee FTR making a return to WWE under new ownership like that. I don't see that happening.
It's hard for me to see. At this point, I mean, like all
the
these
money-
reports are coming out of like even from Raw where people were saying like, hey, if this is the direction,
I'm out.
like I want out, or like I'll write out my contract. But like
I
now the
imagine
thing with Endeavor is obviously they spent. So here's the other thing to think about, because you talked. So I've seen some comments about them purchasing WWE for the amount they did, and like there may be more money flow, and so that could cause people to go in. But what I know about mergers and companies buying other companies is that they spend the money up front, but then slowly over time they start making cuts, they start they gotta do something to kind of,
and this
build
is
that
still
pot-
got to
that-
go
that
through
pocket
it's
flow
gotta go
back
through
up.
DOJ and like all these different regulations and approvals. So there's a chance this might not happen, right? Just because an announcement is made does not mean concretely that this purchase is going to go through.
Yeah,
because I mean, the administration we have right now is anti-merger. So we'll see.
but go ahead.
Talking about the FTR guns before this weekend, like when they announced the match, what were your thoughts? FTR, like did you think the outcome was going to be?
I was legit right down the middle,
like 100%. Like
I was
like
50-50. There was no. I don't know which way this is going to go.
What about you?
I thought there was going to be a swerve. They were going to lose, but they're going to sign the Ring of Honor.
So no one okay. So whatever the plan was, even say they weren't going to re-sign the contracts, knowing how the fans reacted to Mania Sunday night, whether we agree with what the call was or not, the majority don't agree that they made the right call. I mean, that's fact. I mean, you look at like any graph, chart, voting thing, like people are hating the fact that Roman won. You think Tony, I mean, because this is also for the titles, it's not just for the career. So do you think they just, I mean, even if that wasn't the plan, do you think Tony changes course and says, hey, like, I'll pay you whatever you want to pay you. We need you to have the titles, because that's what the fans want. There's no way the fans want the guns to win. You think what happened on Sunday would change Tony's opinion of what should happen at the match?
Possibly.
You think it becomes a thermostat instead of a thermometer?
Possibly. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't.
Even the Ring of Honor thing, like if that was the plan, maybe they're not. They're going to lose and they sign a Ring of Honor. Like obviously, what the crowd wants FTR to win. I mean, the crowd's been fully behind FTR for months. If I'm Tony and I see way people reacted all because what should have happened didn't happen, I'm like,
I mean, who doesn't
changing course?
Who doesn't want a FTR versus Lucha Bros AEW Ring of Honor title match?
And I think Tony has,
but that could also still happen with them under AEW.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Tony has the mindset that he needs to appease the fans. I mean, that's his leadership style. That's his forte. After the news with Endeavor, I don't see FTR going back. I don't. Maybe before, if everything stayed under Triple H, maybe. But now that Vince is headed back in creative, all that came out at the wrong time. If their hope was to get FTR back, because part of the reason they left was because of creative.
Yeah.
No way do they go back to that. I don't foresee it.
Well, transitioning to a purchase that did go through with very little hiccups. We've got PCW Super Smash Brawl coming up.
Oh
next
my God, 10 days.
Saturday,
10 days?
April 15th at Old Armory Gymnasium, 1034 West Cab Street in Camden. VIP admissions at 6 p.m. General admissions at 6:30. Bell time is at 7. You can check the chat. The ticket link is in there, so that you can go buy your tickets if you haven't already. And some of the matches already we've announced. We have Flex versus the Heat Seekers. One of the top up and coming tag teams versus one of the top veteran tag teams in the Mid-Atlantic on the East Coast in the independent wrestling scene. Also, Mad Dog will be in action. And
Dog Mayhem.
Just announced today, one half of Best of the Rest, Chip Day, versus a member of
The
King's Gate, Meltman Donnie Ray. So that's what we have coming up for you on April 15th.
So far.
Stay tuned for more match announcements as well. Tickets start at $15. They'll be same price at the door day of the show. So,
man, I'm just excited to get this thing going.
Yep.
Been a long time.
Yep.
Long time, and it's exciting.
Such a
lot of buzz.
Seems like such a. I mean, it's just. I mean, time's falling by, but it's just like we've been prepping and stuff like that. It just seems like it's taking forever to get here. I'm ready to get that
first one knocked out.
First one underway.
Yeah. No, I'm there. Ready to
super kick Elliott in the ring.
You can't lift your leg that high, so we're good.
You'd be surprised.
I wouldn't be. Your leg will still just be your head height.
Like the Young Bucks kicking Sting in the shoulder.
Cool. What else, guys? That's a whole lot of wrestling.
We are a wrestling show, I guess.
Yep.
And it definitely dominated. I mean, we knew that was. I mean, the whole weekend was wrestling, and then it just continued right into Monday morning and Monday night.
Yep.
Another thing we didn't even touch on with Raw was that I know you talked about Rollins, coming out, and
Matt Riddle made his return.
Riddle made his return.
Bro.
I mean, Bayley's been. She was like this whole thing with Damage Control, and they just took her off TV, and it could just be it could have just been nothing, but her and Mercedes are like best friends, and she has been nothing like all the last 2 weeks. She's been nothing but supportive and and she's been talking about Mercedes and stuff like that.
No way she goes back. Mercedes, nope.
Bayley could be out. I mean, she might
be the one.
She might be the one. I mean, she might be letting it ride. I don't know. I mean, there's so many possibilities of who it could be. If the report's even true that people want
and
out,
she left Raw, Bayley.
Well, they didn't. She was supposed to be on the show. They cut her. I mean,
but she left the building. I think
Mercedes posted a picture of Bayley from on Instagram. I don't know. I mean, Bayley's been so people were reading a lot into her. She posted after Mania like love stories come to an end or something like that. But that was kind of, I think, taken. It could be reading between the lines, but I think it was taken out of context because she had been posting a consistent message about her like love story to wrestling, and she talked about Mania during COVID and like her journey like through Mania and stuff like that. So I don't know. I think that was just because they lost. She was just saying like, hey, that's But I mean, I don't know. It could have been a farewell.
You could end up seeing Bayley, Mercedes, and Trinity. I'm telling you.
Now we joked when Paige was talking about going back about like Paige or Saraya and Mercedes, and it being
Trinity was at Supercard of Honor,
and it being like New World Order type stuff. But if if it was Trinity, Mercedes, and Bailey, ooh, I mean, because they're all still in their prime.
That'd be big.
Brett says off topic. Gamecocks beat UNC a few hours ago.
They're on fire.
Baseball.
Yeah, they're scary.
Yard cocks.
I like that title.
Well, before we wrap everything up, guys,
I need to take some blood pressure medicine. My blood pressure is
See about Brock.
that's the most intense I've gotten.
Before we wrap everything up, this show was brought to you by Daysol Coffee Lab out of Birmingham, Alabama. Guys, y'all know the deal. I absolutely love coffee. Head on over to the website, daysolcoffeelab.co, and use promo code LOWDOWN to get 10% off your order. They even have a subscription option where they'll deliver coffee directly to you every month. So, guys, it's no brainer. If you're going to drink coffee, make it great coffee. And also, if you're in the Camden, Lugoff, or Elgin area and need to find a place that has great community and nutrition where they meet each other, head on over to Revolution Nutrition in the heart of Dusty Bend. They offer healthy protein shakes and iced coffees, energizing herbal teas, aloe refreshers, kid-friendly drinks, and positive vibes. For both Daysol Coffee Lab and Revolution Nutrition, you can use promo code LOWDOWN to get 10% off your order. Guys, it's been a fun night. As always, my name is Elliot.
And I'm Shane.
And I'm Jonathan.
This has been the Lowdown Popcast. And as always, let's keep it popping.